First,
Good evening, sir. I am Das from STC, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, sir. I'm fine, sir.
We'll have formal introduction and everything, sir. Our dean is here.
Okay,
Professor
okay, sir.
Padmanabhan.
Okay, sir. Oh, yes, sir.
Sir, good evening,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Good evening, all the participants. I welcome you all. A small suggestion from you. Can we have
This meeting
10
is being recorded.
10 minutes extra after 6 o'clock so that we can have some feedback. We would like to have feedback from you. So another 10 minutes, I mean extra 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. You all please provide our feedback. The sense what we would like to take another 10 minutes. So if you accept with your permission, we can extend another 10 minutes. If all participants give permission, we could have another 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's good. We can go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
Feedback
so much,
session.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, with your
Can I
permission,
start?
yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Can I start?
Sir, not now, sir. Maybe at the end of the program, you can give a feedback at the end of the program.
So
Okay.
today is the last day now, we can give 10 minutes.
Yes, that's why I'm asking. Actually, you people are concerned about time. That's why we are asking. We'll take another 10 minutes, ma'am. After 6 o'clock, we'll take another 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No,
Okay.
no worry.
No, my request is if you finish
Yes, sir.
5:50, then you can have this vote of thanks will be there. That it will take another 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Then
Yes, sir.
we'll finish up.
Yes, sir.
If you finish the program at 6 o'clock, then vote of thanks 10 minutes. Then afterwards, again 10-15 minutes, it will lead to
No, sir.
30.
Yes, sir. We'll complete everything at 6 o'clock. After 10 minutes, another 10 minutes, we'll have feedback session.
Exclusive for feedback. Okay, fine. That's good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I think participants are joining now.
Yeah. No problems.
Yes, sir. Participants are joining now. We can start in 1 or 2 minutes. We can start the program in 1 or 2 minutes. Since participants are joining. Kumudini ma'am, can you please make Vasni ma'am as co-host? Kumudini ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Vasni Benial. And also our
Sandeep
dean
Benel.
also.
Okay, sir.
Yes, ma'am. The dean also.
Sir, please name for dean.
Sir, Dean Academic Affairs. SARS also.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And our chiefest. Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, okay, sir.
Vasni ma'am, we can start the program.
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Good evening. It is the greatest bliss for us to have you all join for this 6-day faculty development program on English for creative writing. Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry feast. To make today's faculty development program a merry feast, I, Mashni Maria Benial, Assistant Professor, Department of English, STZ Feeds, exhilarated to welcome our today's chief guest, Dr.M.Elangovan, Associate Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Thiagarajar College, Madurai. Delighted to have you here, sir. I jubilantly extend my hearty welcome to Dr. P. Nagaraj, Associate Professor and Head Department of English and Foreign Language, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. Glad to have you here with us, sir. And warm welcome to expertise of past 5 days FDP, Dr. M. Ashita Varghese, Dr. V.C. Shantilakshmi ma'am, Dr. J. Sundar Singh, and Dr. M. Anandi. I'm exultant to welcome Professor R. Padmanabhan, Dean of Academic Affairs, STZ, and Dr. J. Das, Head Department of English, STZ. It's ecstatic to welcome our faculty members who have been a greatest support. Fervently welcoming our participants who are joined with us through Zoom and YouTube from India and from overseas. Let's join together, enjoy and get enlightened in this sixth day FDP program. Once again, welcoming you all. Thank you. I request our distinguished Dean of Academic Affairs, Professor R. Padmanabhan, to address the gallery.
Sir, please unmute your mic, sir. Sir, please unmute your mic, sir. Sir, please unmute your mic, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Professor Padmanabhan, Dean Academic Affairs. I am so very happy that the Department of English of SREE Thiagaraja College has, in association with the Department of English and the Foreign Languages of Bharatiya University, has successfully completed almost, today is the 6th day program, FDP Faculty Development Program. And the success goes to every participant, every resource person who have graced the occasion, and all the faculty members in the Department of English the management, and the principal of my infinite thanks to everybody, people from Tamil Nadu state and from other states of India, and participants, enthusiastic participants from countries like Algeria, Philippines, Indonesia, and other countries. More than 9 foreign participants have taken part. It's a great success for us. How best the program was conducted counts more than what we have done. That is the way to assess and analyze the success of the program. Now, apart from congratulating our own faculty or the faculty of Bardiyar University Department of English, I want to say a few words on the program, faculty development program organized by STC jointly with the Bardiyar University. Now, recently, some 6 months back, Tamil Nadu government, the Department of Education, through Tansky sent a note, rather an order that all the colleges in Tamil Nadu affiliated to various universities should introduce this communicative English along with professional English. The beauty is the syllabus is not to be framed by either the university or the autonomous college. The syllabus itself was framed by the Tansky people, who are all experts in the field. And the focus is on LSRW, as you know. But now, when the higher-ups say that we have to introduce, there is no other way but to adopt. We have adopted, and I think we are the pioneers in Coimbatore and Bardiyar University to have introduced this latest communicative English and also professional English. But what I want to tell you, the idea is that English language should be taught easily, and every student learning English should be able to speak very fluently and with flow and of course beauty, the language, and from the point of view of employment opportunities. I feel that the introduction of this LSRW communicative English and professional English, the idea is to make the students, everyone learn to speak and write, so that more and more employment opportunities will knock at their door. But I want to tell at least the faculty of the different universities in Tamil Nadu, and also the faculty from other universities, North India and so on, you please teach English. And I think if you know English, we can win the world. And my point of view as an educator who has been in the field for more than 55, 56 years, I am of an indisputable opinion that people can be taught values of life, ethics and culture, virtues and discipline only through teaching the language and literature. And though we cannot teach literature to everybody, only to major people, we can approach the students to teach some values through our communicative English under part 2. And unfortunately, I feel that the syllabus frame or the design by Tansky is out and out, devoid of any literary content. Normally, any syllabus prepared by an autonomous college or a university will have some literary content, as I used to say. There will be great essays written by experts, foreign, English experts, and the poems will be there, essays will be there, and some grammar part and all that, Shakespeare drama, and the big novels and so on. by learning this, at least some part of it in small measure, by learning these different varieties of literary pieces, there were so many occasions or opportunities for students to listen to good things of life which would mold their character, conduct, and give them discipline and also make them good citizens. The very purpose of education is to make every individual student into an excellent citizen. So that is the very purpose of education. In one word, man making. But unfortunately, the trend is totally different. Technology has overtaken some of the, curriculum design. Some of the curriculum design now, instead of man making, I think we are not doing the job. We are not making man nowadays. Focus is on technical things, digital learning, and so on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, maybe I am a little more serious. We are making machines. I'm not, these are not my words. An American university professor, some time back, some 10, 15 years back, he observed that in all our universities and colleges, we are not teaching values, morals, ethics, and so on. We are teaching technicalities and techniques only, so that we are producing academic rascals. This is an observation not made by any Indian university vice chancellor. An American professor said like that. Now, though we cannot subscribe to this view entirely, we can understand to a certain extent that what is going on in our current society all over the world will shape whether what I say is true, at least partially true. Now, what I want to tell you on this occasion to all the participants, my dear participants, you're all youngsters. I think this assembly of participants consists of senior professors, experts in the field, many doctorates, and junior faculty. And really, we are overwhelmed by our satisfaction and also joy that so many of you, more than 500 and so on, have participated. I want to make an appeal to you. And I want to tell you on this occasion, I have seen many mathematics professors and physics professors, including Dr. Abdul Kalam. See, he has narrated the thing so many times through the experience he had with the Siva Subramania Iyer. They used to teach mathematics, quoting something from Bharadiyar poem or from Sangam literature or from Tirukural and so on. So even mathematics could use literature, but unfortunately, English teaching, the language, is devoid of the content of literature. So my appeal to all the participants here is, you please, when you are teaching, I think the syllabus definitely cannot be so very interesting. And my earnest appeal, you teachers, please read a lot. This is what I want to repeat again and again. Read all kinds of literature. Don't spare any, great literature in English. Read all those things. And whenever you get an opportunity, try to quote, try to use some of the anecdotes, some of the stories, some of the poems you have learned from literature. It may be a poem, it may be a short story, or it may be a drama, some pieces from Shakespeare and all that. Quote here and there, teach with parables, teach with anecdotes, teach with examples, and your teaching should be full of English literature. And along with what you teach, it may be communicative English, paper 1 or 2, or it may be professional English. And please try to include some pieces of literature so that your class will be bubbling with excitement, laughter, and interest. Students will not, will not turn deaf ear to whatever you teach. Make your class very interesting. This is my only appeal. And making the teaching of English language, though we are following the Tansky model, teaching the subject English language as an interesting piece is in the hands of the teacher. So I would like to request our a junior, senior, expert, and well-experienced faculty who have participated. Please teach English language with so much of interest. And nowadays, we are getting quite a large number of students from rural side, and they are not able to write even a single sentence. They are not able to speak a sentence. Unfortunately, English teaching has been diluted. I speak out of my experience. As a student, I learned English in my UG pass course degree for 3 years. First year, second year, third year, but unfortunately nowadays, the teaching has come down to first year only. I don't know what will happen in future. So this is my earnest appeal to all and my humble request to all the participants. So a word about our own participants who have taken part. Thank you. You have been attending the program for all the 6 days so very enthusiastically. I was observing all your feedback, excellent feedback you have given. And I think this, participation, you are attending this faculty development program organized for 6 years will definitely earn credit for you, and it will take you a long way in your
Sir, please unmute, sir. Please unmute, sir.
career. Bless you, and I welcome today's speaker, and my special thanks to Dr. Nagaraj, Associate Professor of the Department of English of Bharatiyar University and the higher-ups of Bharatiyar University. Once again, for all their best efforts taken with utmost sincerity of purpose, I want to congratulate the faculty of the Department of English and the support given by the management and principal. Once again, my best wishes to all the participants. May all the Almighty shower your life with all kinds of good things of life. Thank you for the opportunity given. My best wishes and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I invite our friend and colleague, Ivancy Sophia, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to introduce the chief guest.
Thank you, ma'am. Respected Dean, Head of the Department, faculty members, and all the participants, a warm good evening. I take this immense pleasure to introduce our today's chief guest, Dr.M.Elangovan, Associate Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Thiagarajar College, Madurai. He is an expert in writing creative English and Tamil and specialized in the area of British English, literary criticism and theory, linguistics, ELT, and translation. Today, to all our surprise, he is a poet. Creativity doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It fashions its perfect moments out of ordinary ones. We are so glad that you are here today to show your insights on English for creativity. The ideas that you present will enrich our creative ideas. Dr. M.Elangovan has acquired an MA in English and MA in linguistics, MPhil, B.Ed, and PhD. He worked in various institutions as a PG assistant in Al-Amin Higher Secondary School, Madurai, lecturer and assistant professor in Thiagarajar College at Madurai. Now he has been promoted to associate professor in the same college. He has been an external expert for doctoral committee, Alagappa University, Karaikudi. University nominee in Board of Studies for BA English, part-time academic counselor. He has presented and published research papers in national and international conference proceedings. To our great surprise, he has published 5 books, namely Viriya Thiranda Siragugal, Moral Aesthetics, and Anthology of Avayar Didactic Poetry, Poems of Madness, Eluthamudiya Haiku, and Haihumara Kavidegal. He has many invited lectures and has been a resource person for various conferences, seminars, and FTPs. He had organized state-level seminars and poetry on workshops. At present, he is guiding 6 PhD scholars on various research topics related to language and literature. He has received a minor research project on subalternity in the novels of Papsi Sidhwa, a post-colonial study. He has a membership in Poetry Society, New Delhi. With a short note of introduction, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Dr. M.Elangovan, to this faculty development program on professional English and communicative English. On behalf of Dean, HOD, faculty members, and all the participants, I cordially invite our chief guest. Sir, now the session is yours. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are on cloud 9 to have the eminent personality, Dr.M.Elangovan, Associate Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Thiagarajar College, Madurai, to infuse on English for creativity. The lecture is yours, sir.
Respected Professor and Head, the Department of English, Bardea as an university, the Dean Academic Affairs of SARASWATI Thiagarajar College, the Head and Professor of the Department of English, STG College, the faculty members of both the departments, and the participants from the states outside Tamil Nadu, and the participants from various countries. A warm good evening to one and all. It is really a very great pleasure for me to give a talk on English for creativity. I have come here not as an associate professor of English working in a department of English. Of course, that has given me some credential. But why the department has chosen me, as it was rightly pointed out in the introductory part of today's program, is happening to be a poet. I'm happily announce that I have published poems and short stories both in Tamil and also in English in various literary magazines for the last 20 to 25 years. Of course, I do write only in serious literary magazines, not in the popular magazines. So my name would not have appeared in the popular magazines of the state. But I have been writing my poems in serious little magazines. So I think that today's topic, English for creativity, suits well not only the mood and the temperament of mine, but also the stand that I have as a poet. That is why I have chosen this topic. The Dean has rightly pointed out that today the modern world has lost its essence by giving too much of a materialistic attitude. Under the syllabi of various universities and colleges, give importance only to the communicative aspect of English, but not the creative aspect of our mind and spirit. What do we actually need? Of course, man is by nature a communicative being, but beyond that, he has proved himself as a man of creativity. Man has created a lot of things out of nature, out of the environment, out of the world, out of the universe, and out of his own mind. So creativity is the major part. Creativity is our essential being, the being and the existence of our, the reason, the thread of our being here on this earth. So every time we create, every time we indulge in an activity which is creative by nature. So as teachers of English, most of us have the idea that our objective is to make the students learn only the 4 skills of language, LSRW. But I appreciate this department and the Department of English for their university for adding this last part, but the most important part of English for creativity. Only when you have creativity, you can communicate. That is the most important part. That is the first lesson that we should have. If you have creative ideas, that creative ideas will definitely take to a place where you can communicate. Another thing is that the first and foremost thing that I would like to give to the participants of this FDB program is that we think that creativity is a special gift given by nature or God to the writers, but it is not so. As I said earlier, creativity is a common thing on which all of us stand very firmly and do all our activities. But by learning the nuances and the techniques of creativity, we should have one basic idea in our mind that we are all writers in a sense, or by all senses. Don't think that creative business is only for writers. We are writers, we can become writers, and we can express ourselves in English, and we can teach creative English to our students. That is the most important thing. So creativity is the most important aspect, that it is the innermost aspect of our existence in this world. Every time we utter a single word from the depth of our heart, from the deepest part of our mind, we are creating something. So when we do teach English to our students, we should also teach them how to communicate with that amount of creativity. That becomes the most important aspect. Okay, with that, we say that we can move on to the next thing, that creativity is to be learned. The art of creativity is to be learned as a specialized way of learning the nuances of how to write creative pieces for various purposes. What are the technical aspects involved in creative writing? That should be our today's program. Okay, so I would like to present certain basic things. Of course, all of us as teachers of English, we know certain things, but my way of giving things to you is that how creativity becomes an art by itself in the classroom, at home, and on all occasions. Okay. So we all, as teachers, we all know that we can give chances for our students. We can give chances for our own selves, that we can blossom our inner being with all these things. So the first and foremost form of expression, the various kinds of creative writing, and the first one is poetry. But we know that poetry is the oldest form of creativity. When writing came, it came in the form of a poem. So poetry is the most important aspect, and plays are the next one. Movies and television and various types of fiction, novels, novellas, and short stories. Of all these genres indicate one point for all of us, that there are umpteen ways of expression. We can write a poem today. It can be a small piece containing only 2 lines. That itself is an act of creativity. Because to write a poem is to have the essence of giving a strong root to our existence. That is what creativity means for me. So writing poetry, even with 2 short sentences lines, is a great act on our part. Okay, then we can move on to the other genres. Okay, plays are there, dramas are there. Of course, at this moment, we can't go back to the movies and television, but there are short stories, novels, novellas, all these forms are there. Or we can go in for writing songs. Even our small speeches should show our creative energy. And memoirs are there. Short recollections of writings are called memoirs. Memoirs are there. Personal essays are there. Now, I have just given the kinds of creative writing to give to refresh our minds of all the forms with which we are already familiar. But the thing is that we should develop the spark for writing all these forms. What we basically need is the spark, the fire within our souls, within our spirits. This is what we need. This is what we have to develop. Of course, as teachers of English literature, we are all familiar with all these forms and we have been teaching all these things. But the thing is that we should make ourselves as writers of these forms. That is the idea, very idea of the inclusion of this particular topic in this FDB program. We have been teaching all these forms throughout our career. But have you ever thought of of course, maybe some of you may be writing some poems and I appreciate. But we have been teaching all these things for, throughout our career. But have you ever thought of asking this question, when am I going to become a writer? When am I going to write my first poem? That should be the right way of inducing the spirit. Okay, that should be the correct way of arousing the spirit with this, which is always there in our mind. Okay, so it is not only the most important aspect of this program is to make you feel that we should make an attempt to write all these things. Okay, now the next one is that definition of creative writing. What is meant by creative writing? What do we mean by creative writing? I have already told you that a small form of expressions with some aesthetic sensibility is a creative writing. Even the way in which we wish other person with a kind of, with a tinge of aesthetic sensibility is a creative writing. But the technical definition of creative writing says that it is a form of writing different genres and styles, which we have already seen in the previous 2 slides. It is a form of writing Okay. So the forms are very, very natural for us as we are all teachers of English. But the thing is that whether we are familiar with writing these forms, that is the question. We have been teaching. My aim in this program is to make us think that how to become a writer. Whether we have made any attempt of writing these various honors, at least in the most simplest form of these writings. So CW, creative writing, stands as a beacon light for all of us to go very deep into our own consciousness to find out what we are and where we are, and the most important thing is how we are. Creative writing answers all these questions. So it is a kind of finding our own self. Writing is nothing but an attempt to find out who we are, what we are, and how we are. It is to go very deep into your own self to find out your own identity in this world. The creativity is needed for that. In order to find out who you are, I'm not giving you the philosophical question, who am you? Who am I? As it has been asked by so many philosophers of the past and also the present. But creative writing asks the same question, but in a different way. A piece of writing in a small form of a poem can give answers to these meaningful questions of who am I? So the one-line definition takes all of us to these various questions of finding out our own self. If I write something today, this evening, which means that that very attempt of writing has given me some answer to find out, to touch the very center of my being. To touch the very center of my being. That is what writing means for me as a writer. So it is not a mere way of attempting various forms, but the whole aim of writing is to make ourselves feel what we are and make others feel what they are. That is what creative writing. So the very purpose of creative writing, leave alone the language. Of course, as English professors, we have to concentrate on the language, but now we are talking about creativity. We are going to use English for all these purposes. So, the creative writing means for me that it is a way to show who I am. And when I write something, it also shows the way for the readers what they are and who they are. So, we can't say that merely that it is writing. And another thing is that while writing, I don't go into the aspect of what is right and what is wrong, which means that there is no moral questioning in this piece of writing, in this writing or creative business. Creative writing does not make any attempt to say what is right or what is ultimate right or what is ultimate wrong. And there are only moderate rights and moderate wrongs in creative writings. So all these things go into the making of our own beings and our own becomings. This being and becoming happens when I write something. This being and becoming happens when I write something. That is what I try to make you feel during this program. The utmost happening, and once suddenly I remember that once the famous poet and novelist of Indian writing in English, Shiv K. Kumar, was asked in an interview by the interviewer, how does he define a poem? So all of us, I was, it happened some 25 years back, 25 to 30 years back when I was just a student I was watching this program in Doordarshan, giving this Shivke Kumar giving an interview. At that time, Shivke Kumar gave this definition, what he meant by poem at that time. He told me, the interviewer, a poem is happening. A poem is happening. So you don't write a poem, but the poem happens to the writers. That is what we mean by creative writing, and our English should help us to find out the moment of that happening. So all creative writings are happenings. Of course, there are many technical aspects of creative writing, but the spark is happening. That is why I say that there is no moral scope of giving the readers or the world what is ultimately correct and what is ultimately wrong. But you give moderate rights and moderate wrongs in. So creative writing does not make any attempt to give you the sense of course, the classical way of saying poetry should teach is also there, but it indirectly teaches. And creative writing is completely different from technical writing and academic writing. What we might have been exposed in the previous programs of this FDP program might have confined themselves to these two aspects, technical writing and academic writing. But today is the last day of program, and we are here in the ultimate part of our knowing ourselves, that technical writing is completely different from creative writing. Academic writing is completely different from creative writing. But you reach creative writing with the help of technical writing, with the help of academic writing, and creative writing is the ultimate form of expression. Creative writing is the ultimate form of expression. That is why it is called a creative writing. It comes only at the last moment, because creation of something is a painful process. Of course, it is a meaningful process, but it is completely different from technical writing and academic writing. So another thing is that so after seeing what is creative writing, the question comes naturally: what are the functions of creative writing? What happens to me when I become a writer? More than that, if I what happens to me when I become a writer, or when you become a writer? Creative writing focuses on character, not the character of our short story or of the novel, but it is the character of our own self and the characters of others. You observe other characters in your life in a detached way. And then what happens in the observation is that you become one with whom you watch. So this kind of observation is very important. This kind of observation is very important. Of observation of what? Observation of the characters. By characters, I mean the people of the world. The characters, I mean the people of this world. At least the small world in which we live. There are many characters in our life. We have people in our at our homes. We have people in the street. We have people in our working places. What are my reactions to these people? What are my reactions? How do I observe these people? So this kind of character development, character observation is most important for creative writing. Then after taking the seeds of these characters, you develop that character in your mind, in the depth of your heart, you develop the character. The character is nourished by our past memories and present pains and future pangs of life. Each and every aspect of the character is developed in the mind of or in the inner consciousness of the writer. There are painful moments in our life when we observe characters, when we develop characters. The labor pain is there when you have the theme of because we carry too many characters in our mind. Too many characters come and walk in our mind as they walk in the streets. This is the painful process. So after the observation of the characters, after the development of the characters, we go to the next part where the desire for expression comes. Yes, I have watched people. I have observed people. I have observed people with the characters. I have developed the characters whom I have observed, watched, and I have molded them in my mind. Then the question of narration comes. How am I going to express these characters in? Whether I am going to write a poem using the language that I do have, or whether I am going to write a short story or a novel. So the narrative aspect comes. So all these functions, and then comes after you find out the narrative aspect, whether you are going to, after finding out an answer for all these things, how to express, how to narrate a poem or a short story. You go to the next aspect of the plot. Of course, if it is a short story, the plot. Of course, even a poem has a plot in it. And all these are prior experiences of becoming a poet, a writer. And then what happens ultimately is that with the story that we have created, with the characters that we have seen and observed and developed. So when you minutely watch all these activities, you feel that you carry the weight of the days of our life. So becoming a creative writer is not an easy process. This is, as I said earlier, of course, it gives us pleasure, but at the same time, it is a painful process because we have to be alive to our life, be alive to the people who talk to us. We have to imagine people in a different way. We have to take in the characters of the raw life which is in front of us. We have to define and redefine the characters. We have to mold these characters. We have to find out the ways of expressions. So that is why that all the activities of creative writing make us engaged in life. Of all other writing, of course, you are not completely engaged. In academic writing, in other technical writing, in all other parts, you are not completely engaged. There is a kind of a formalistic way of expression is there. But what happens in creative writing is that here we are compelled to engage completely in whatever we do. That is what creative writing is. That becomes the most important aspect of creative writing. Okay, so imagination also plays an important role. Now, These are the tips. Of course, after having attained all the prerequisites for becoming a writer, all the prerequisites of becoming a writer, are there any concrete steps to improve our creative writing? Are there any concrete steps? Yes, there are many concrete steps which are given almost in all creative writing workshops. I have attended so many workshops as a writer and as a poet. So I have learned all these techniques from them. And I practice all these things in my writing. When I do write a short story, when I write a poem, all these things. So there are some basic steps. As teachers, we do read in order to teach our students. But to become a writer, to engage ourselves in a creative way, we need a different kind of reading. So here, reading becomes the passion of our existence, the passion of our life. It is not an academic activity, of course. As far as creative writing is concerned, reading is not considered to be an academic activity. As an academic activity, reading becomes a different one. But when you read for creativity, there reading becomes a passion. So we have to read all and we have to read everything. And the next important, so reading becomes a clear and reading becomes the most important activity in order to become a creative writer. Okay. Then, as I said earlier, the spark is to come from above or from the type of life that we do live. So we have to make ourselves engaged in the various types of activities. For all these things, we need one thing, and that is called inspiration. No one can give you the inspiration without your passion for becoming a writer. If you have patience, if you keep on watching what happens in life, any moment of life or any movement of life may give you the chance to enjoy yourself with that kind of inspiration which is needed for writing. So we have to wait for the inspiration. We have to wait for the inspiration. From where? From all happenings. Anything can give you the moment of inspiration. Anything can give you. Any happening in your life, any incident in your life can give you inspiration. And you have to be aware of the flux and the fluctuations of life. You have to be aware of the flux and fluctuations of life, which are technically and poetically called the movements of life. The movements of life. When you are aware of these happenings, when you are aware of these movements of life, they will definitely give the chance to become an inspired writer. So this is the second step. After reading a lot, whatever comes on our way, we wait for the life to give us the moment of inspiration. After getting the moment of inspiration, we write. So write only when you are inspired. Don't write for the act, of course. But another thing is also there. Should I wait for this inspiration always? No, that doesn't matter. You can go on writing and anything can, inspiration can come on your way. And the next one is that to become a good writer, one should become a good critic. It doesn't mean that you should become a professional critic, but a moderate way of criticism is needed for becoming a creative writer. You should know the difference between highbrow writings, middlebrow writings, and lowbrow writings. These are the three types of writings. So discrimination and analysis are the essence of a creative writer. You discriminate a good writer from a bad writer by criticizing the works of others. A writer has to be a critic in this sense. You have to identify the writers who are lowbrow in their writings, who are middlebrow in their writings, who are highbrow in their writings. Your Shakespeare is a highbrow writer. I don't want to go and name the others who belong to the other categories. Dostoevsky is a highbrow writer. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is a highbrow writer. Octavia Boss is a highbrow poet. Sylvia Plath is a highbrow poet. So there are umpteen number of examples for these highbrow writers. But you read a lot of works from these highbrow writers, you will definitely get to know what is the correct way of expression, so that you can also get inspiration from these highbrow writers. And criticize in a critical way, so that criticism becomes the part of your and then you continuously write. Then, as I said earlier, don't wait for inspiration alone, but as a practice, because writing comes only when you keep on writing. So you should have the practice of writing something every day during a particular time. So keep on writing. Every day you have to write something, so that it becomes an exercise. It becomes a habit. It becomes your second nature. Second nature. So that this continuous attempt of writing gives some flexibility, not only of the hands which write the writings, but also the flexibility of the brain and the mind, which are the essential spaces for creative activity, your mind and your brain. So there is a well coordination among these three things. When you write, keep this as a practice of doing every day. Your hand, your mind, your brain and your mind, they work together, so that you become a full-fledged writer in a course of time. That is the essential act. And there are other ways also to engage yourself in the creative activity. As teachers, you can do this, because teachers are the second poets, the category of people who belong to the second category of creativity. You can create too many games of imagination. Create too many games of imagination out of your own imagination. You play the games by writing them. And another way is that you can rewrite the famous writings of others. You can paraphrase, or you can rewrite the story of Edgar Allan Poe in a different way, or Catherine Mansfield's work in a different way, or Alice Munro's works in different ways. So that this rewriting will give us, will become a kind of acid test for us to make ourselves aware of the fact how much we are able to rewrite, or this is called, technically called, recreation of the classics. This kind of recreation should become a kind of a recreation for you. So rewrite famous writings so that you can measure the length or the gap between yourself and the great writers whom you rewrite. That will definitely show us the difference between where we stand, where Shakespeare stands, where Alice Munro stands as a short story writer, or Gabriel Garcia Marquez, or George Louis Borges stands, or where Wordsworth stands, or where Tagore stands. And our English becomes more effective when we engage ourselves in all these activities, so that we can find our own way of making our imprints upon this world. And we have to find out what various images and various styles to inspire ourselves. That becomes very important for all of us. Okay. And again, now I focus myself upon the first way of expression. Of course, if what should I do if I want to write a short story? Another thing is that why do I begin with the short story is that everyone is interested in listening to stories, and everyone is interested in telling a story, because all of us have some stories within us. All of us have some stories. Every one of us, we do have some stories to tell others. So the words here that you find are different from the words that we have seen in the previous character. Of course, they are the same words, but they have different connotations in this slide. You have to find out the characters of your short story. You have to find out the settings of the story where you are going to. And the plot is very important for writing the story. So we have to find out the connectivity. For example, suppose if we have two actions to tell us a story, the king died. First sentence. The queen also died. The queen died. These are the two sentences. These are the two sentences which will make the sense of becoming a story. But here these two sentences stand apart. They don't go together. Suppose if you add another word, it becomes a plot. Here you have a story to tell others. The king died, so the queen also died. Here it becomes a plot. And this plot necessarily creates a kind of conflict both in the story and in the minds of the readers. Conflict is an essential aspect of creative writing. Conflict and crisis. These are the two essential acts of creative writing, because sometimes they will be resolved, and many times they may not be resolved, or they will not be resolved, and they will be eternal mysteries in our life. And each and every piece of creative writing will definitely have this kind of a conflict and this kind of creative crisis in it. When Shakespeare says that life is a tale told by an idiot and full of sound and signifies nothing, there is the problem of this conflict. There Shakespeare gives us a problem, a conflict for our life. If he says that ripeness is all, within that single sentence, you see the entire conflict of human life on this world. So conflict and crisis are two essential aspects of story writing or creative writing, whatever it is. And then the theme of our story, or the we have to decide. And then how am I going to tell the story? Point of view. That is the attitude of the writer towards the theme. What is point of view? Point of view is nothing but the attitude of the writer towards the narrative technique of the story, which he is going to tell. And the next one is in what tone that a writer will tell his story. Whether there will be an explicit tone or an implicit tone. And then as we know that style is the man, we can say that style is the writer. Each writer has his own style, and we have to continuously write in order to find out what is our style or which is our style. It is only the style which decides the caliber of the writer, the ultimate thing. So style is also very, very important. And then how to practice creative writing. As I said earlier, reading makes a writer. It is not reading maketh a man, but it is in creative writing, you can say that reading makes a writer. So don't indulge in writing without much reading. This means that reading is the first step to become a writer. If you are writing a short story, if you are writing a novel or a long piece of writing, whether it may be, whatever it is, do a lot of research and groundwork. Do a lot of research and groundwork. And the third is practicing is that when you read something, don't just read but analyze and interpret. Analyze and interpret. Because as I said earlier, you have to become a critic if you want to become a writer. Identify your attitude to the theme. That is the point of view which I have already told. And make writing as a routine act. It's a continuous act. Okay. Then the end point is always very important in creative writing. How am I going to deliver my goods to my readers, my things to the readers? So the writer has to decide the nature of the readers. So as a writer, as a creative writer, I should do one thing. What is that? I should feel the pulse of the readers. I should feel the pulse of the reader, what they want. Of course, I don't go down to their level, but what they want, what they require is more important. That's why I say that feel the pulse of the readers. When you feel the pulse, what they require, what I don't say that what they want, but what they require, what they need. And so we write something. The next term is that don't use any intoxication for mood or inspiration. Some writers do that as a habit, but it is not necessary. Another aspect is that there are two important things. Every writing has a mystery. Every writing has a history. Every writing has some kind of obscurity. Every writing has a history. Every writing has a mystery. And every writing has some kind of obscurity. Oh, obscurity, thou art writing. This is what I can say. Oh, obscurity, thy name is writing. As Shakespeare said, oh, frailty, thy name is woman. We can say that, oh, obscurity, thy name is writing. I can say it to that level. where we can feel obscurity is the most important, because as I said earlier, it is obscurity which makes the conflict and the crisis of creative writing. If we feel something, because after what is a creative, a genuine writing does one thing. What is that? A genuine writing disturbs you a lot. It doesn't allow you to sleep peacefully. A genuine writing disturbs it. Suppose if you feel, if you read a poem, if you read a short story by Dostoevsky, The Cart, of course, the famous story of Dostoevsky, or Tolstoy, Leo Tolstoy. What happens to the reader is that the reader is completely disturbed, and there is some kind of obscurity in that. So obscurity should also be there in writing. Nothing is, everything is not given to the readers on a plate in writing. The readers have to make some attempt to understand what is there in the writing. So mystery is there, history is there, obscurity is there, and then you practice the craft. And there are various ways of types of creative writing. There are expository writings, there are persuasive writings, and there are narrative writings, and there are descriptive writings. And all these things go into the making of a creative writer. So a writer can be expository, a writer can be persuasive. It is up to the mood and temperament of the writer to choose any one of these types of writing. I can be a narrative writer, I can be a descriptive writer, or I can blend all these things. I can blend all these things. Okay. Storytelling is the most important, as I said earlier. Okay. And again, I give you the same thing. Fiction includes flash fiction, short stories, novellas, full-length novels. Okay. And the next important ones. Why should I become a creative writer? That is the most important thing. Now, question that we have to ask. What is the purpose of creative writing in English or in any language for that matter? The first and foremost thing is that man wants to express himself or herself. Man wants to express himself. That is the inner urge in every one of us to express ourselves in an imaginative and creative way. Of course, in our all day-to-day life, we all express, but we don't express in an imaginative and creative way in our day-to-day conversation, in our day-to-day communication. For our materialistic life, we do express ourselves, but this expression is completely different, because it is in this expression we have imagination, we have creativity. That is why we write. The purpose of writing, creative writing, is to express ourselves in an imaginative and creative way. And we want to say something to others. We want to inform others about what? About life. So we want to give a small piece of information to my readers, not as an announcement, but as a way of enjoyment, as a way of pleasure, as a way of happiness. Because the aesthetic activity is the most important activity in creative writing. So I want to inform others in a creative way. And then I want to persuade, but not as an argumentative rhetorician, but as a humble writer. To my readers, I say something and I make them believe what they read. And that is what I mean by to persuade. And the last thing is that the creative urge is always there in all of us. That is why in the very beginning of my lecture, I told you that basically all of us are writers. We should have this thing that we don't think that we are not writers at all. All of us are writers. All of us have the capability of becoming a writer, because the sense of creativity is there in all of us, and but the only thing is that we don't do that act, which is called creative writing. Otherwise, we can create. So that is the purpose of creative writing, to create, and then to express and to reflect upon various aspects of life, to inform and explain, to evaluate and judge, to inquire and explore. So all these verbs are the most important activities of our being a creative writer. So we do all these activities either consciously or unconsciously through our creative writings. We express, we reflect, we inform, we explain, we evaluate, we judge, we inquire, and finally we explore. Finally, we explore. This explosion is the most important aspect, because I have used this word explode in a figurative way. Okay. And then analysis is to analyze, to interpret. And the final thing is that as a writer, I take a stand and I propose a solution to the problems and issues of life through my creative writing. It happens ultimately. The writer has to take a stand and he has to give if not a complete and perfect solution, at least a partial solution is given by the writer for the problems and issues of life. That is the purpose of creative writing. And then I would like to go on to poetry. So it is an act of construction, and you have to, by writing poems, you have to do. We have seen the various aspects of short stories. Now I would like to touch upon very quickly the aspects of writing poetry. You have to imagine feelings, characters, and as I said earlier, observe changes. Observe changes. That is also very, very important. Okay. And writing a poem gives us the chance to evoke a challenge. Evoke a challenge. Experiencing a lot and making too many confrontations with the problems and issues of life. Confrontations with the problems and issues of life. And to become a poet is very, very sensitive, and the language aspect is very powerful in poetry writing. So these are the technical things that we have to see: sound and rhythm, tone, imagery, figures of speech like metaphor and simile, symbols, irony. Of course, you know, we are all familiar with all these technical aspects of it, but we have to become experts of all these things, so that instead of teaching all these things, we become making all these people who make all these things through our poems. So that is my aim. We should be familiar with the sound and rhythm, tone, imagery, and how to use figures of speech like metaphors and similes, how to use symbols, and how to use ironies. Now comes the last aspect of a part of my lecture today. So as I told you earlier, creative writing gives us a chance for all of us to become ourselves engaged with the movements of life. We think in a new way, in a fresh way. The path which have not taken by others, we go to that part. So creative writing gives us this chance. Okay. And last month, one of my poems was published in a famous reputed English journal. And this poem caught the attention of so many people who happened to get that journal. Okay. And the title of the poem, and here is a challenge for all the participants. Please find out what is the specialty of this particular poem written by me and published in a journal, a peer-reviewed journal, of course. The first one is my photograph, and then and the author's bio note is there. I will read out the poem, and while I read through the lines of the poem, you will immediately notice what kind of creativity has gone into the making of this poem. That is why in the last part of my speech, I would like to give this as an example of how to engage ourselves creatively in life. Now I read. The title of the poem is Lit Collage. Lit Collage. Look back in anger. Look back in anger. The grapes of wrath are within the unknown citizen. Christabel writes epithalamium in the Westminster Abbey. The west wind breaks the Grecian earth. The nightingale cries nevermore. The merchant of Venice marries the edible woman. When the world is too much with us. The old man in the sea reads Catch-22 when things fall apart. The tempest wrecks the paper boat. The brooks run through the heart of darkness. Need kindly light as the morning becomes Electra. When she is waiting for Godot in the wasteland for such a long journey. This is the poem written by me and published. Now, I hope since we are all experienced teachers, we might have noticed here the poet has taken almost most of the part, almost all the lines of his poems from various works in English literature, various lines, characters, and speeches from that. I have made a literary collage in the poem. So this is what a creative writer can do to others. The first and foremost thing in a creative writing is that disturbance. We should be disturbed. And I hope you are aesthetically disturbed and emotionally disturbed to become writer. With that, I thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to give a talk on creative writing in English. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful session. We were really enlightened, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Participants, let's move on to the interaction sessions. It's your time. You can ask your questions too, sir.
And please unmute your mics and ask the questions one by one so that sir can answer all your questions. We'll have a discussion, question and answer session up to 5:50. So after that, we are moving to the next session. So please, if the time exceeds, you please type your questions on the WhatsApp group, and we will take the questions to our chief guest, and he will answer, and the same answer will be shared in the group. So you please have your time limit up to 5:50. After that, we have another session. Okay, now we can go ahead with your questions, please.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir,
That's why you are not audible, sir.
I think I'm audible right now. So my question is that we are living in a world of information. You turn to any direction, you're filled with information with the emergence of the digital world. And in this scenario, we are witnessing a lot of price coming in. A lot of new people are coming in, producing literary work. But there is a serious discussion going on the quality of writing, because quality materials are seldom in the literary world. So I would like to know what is your opinion on that?
Yes, very good. So, of course, since the era has completely changed, since many people have become educated, and almost all readers have the habit of writing. But the question is that, as you said, rightly said, the quality of writing should never be given to a lower rank. So it should be maintained. But what happens is that since many people write, because we have freedom of education and anybody can read and anybody can write also. No, we cannot say that no, only this kind of people should write, only this. But what happens to the world of writing is that many people write, but the first and foremost authority to decide who is to be rated as the quality writer is time. Time alone can be the best deciding authority for us. So my opinion is that many people writers may come and writers may go, but time stands here as a testing agency, so that it will any work has to withstand the test of time. So we should allow people to write, but we have to pick up only quality writing from all kinds of writing. So this is my humble opinion, sir.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yes, sir.
How far can translation play in the process of creating writing, sir?
Very good, sir. Because as a translator, I have translated Avaya's poetry, a classical writer in Taylor. Translation itself is a creative activity, sir. Translation itself is a creative activity. And another thing is that translation is nothing but an act of transcreation, sir. Transcreation. Translation is to be considered as, it should not be given a second-rate position in creative writing, and a translation should be treated on a par with original writing, because the same thing is to be transported from the original work to the source language, so that translation also becomes what a creative writing. So when somebody translates a work from one language to another language, what he or she actually does is that he translates the original feeling and the emotion and the spirit of the source language to the target language. So translation is a creative activity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Well, sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to read lit collage, sir, something different, unique in nature. In fact, I come across this sort of, I think, introvert for the first time. Really great. Okay, so now I'm coming to this question. Sir, you said classics can be rewritten, or that's some point you made.
Yes, rewriting of yes,
a sort of creative act. Now, I would like to ask, what could be the possible challenges while doing these tasks? Possible challenges.
The possible challenge is that our recreation of the past writing or classical writing can never be able to achieve the greatness of the original. That sometimes it may reach, but many times it may not reach, because we know the qualities and the essential features of a classical verse. Classics are classics because they are classical in nature. So those qualities can never be transported in our rewriting of the classics. But what thing is that the same kind of classical quality cannot or may not be attained by our new writing, but I can give you the assurance that our new rewriting can attain another level of classical quality. Yes, this is what I do find as the most possible challenge that when a writer rewrites the past story or a classical works, the same quality cannot be given by the new writer, but the new writer may achieve with his genuine effort that kind of a new kind of classical standard for his writings. So
Yes.
that is the first one. That can be only one Shakespeare. You know that. If I rewrite the story of a Shakespeare in another form, my work will may have some reflections of Shakespeare, but my works may never become Shakespeare.
True, sir.
Yes. That's
Professor.
So I create another way of criticism, classical work.
True, sir. True, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Professor, this is Dr. Raghuram speaking from Chennai.
Yes, sir. Please. Plus, hello, sir. Good
I have been following your speech. Marvelous. Really, the thought provoking. There is nothing I cannot praise the words because you are beyond the appreciation and beyond praise.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
I need only one clarification, sir, because just
Yes,
now
sir,
when you are
please.
talking about the translation, you said translation. When you said they put the emotions, when they write the translating words, emotion with originality like this, you mentioned that. Do you think are they doing really, or for the sake of knowledge sake they are translating for this? That is one thing, sir. That is one question. Second is followed by creative writing, innovative writing. Is there any difference? Is there? Two clarifications required, sir.
Yes, sir. The first, I will come to the first point, sir. First, translations are not done for transformation, transforming or transferring knowledge alone, sir.
Yeah.
Because beyond knowledge, we have something which cannot be easily identified. Because as teachers of literature, we know that there are many more things beyond knowledge. So, a work of art is not only translated for knowledge alone, but it is translated for so many other things, for its aesthetic purpose, for its life-oriented, for its values. Especially, a translation comes into existence only because of the values that the original work has. Yeah, I am interested in translating a particular work because I feel as a translator that this work has some value for human life. So I translate. So knowledge is not so. So this is what my opinion, sir. Regarding not only for knowledge.
Original value should not be diluted at any point of time when you translate.
Yes, sir.
So even though you give your original thoughts, you give the translating thoughts from your mind, everything is there. But original value, whatever is there, that should be exactly
repeated.
Depicted there. Okay. Second point, sir. Second
point is that creative writing and innovative writing.
Yes, sir.
Creative writing means, of course, it is an old way of saying about making something new. Okay. Now, most of the creative writings are innovative in nature. When T.S. Eliot wrote The Wasteland and published in 1922, Wasteland was very much innovative, both in its structure and also in its tone and in its content. Okay, of course, he was using the old form poetry, but The Wasteland was enormously a very big epic because of its innovations, both in various aspects, in language, in theme, in quotations, in inspirations, in all other things. So what do I mean? I don't say that there is essentially a difference between creative writing and innovative writing. Or many creative writings, if they are really creative, have innovations in them. As I don't, I should not give this as an example, but you might have looked at my poem. What I have done in this poem is that I have borrowed many lines. Okay, that is an innovative writing.
Creative writing, can we say creative writing is original and beyond the outbound of thoughts?
Yes, sir.
Creative writing is outbound of your thoughts. You something creative on your mind, and then you're writing there. Innovative writing is maybe the extension of creative writing.
Creative writing, extension of creative writing, going beyond the conventional limits of creative writing.
That's what I want. Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Conventional writing of creative writing.
The John Milton and Elton Mayo and then John Milton and also Shakespeare, they're all creative writers only. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, creative writers. Creative writers.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for enlightening me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any further question you can ask, or else we can move to the next session. Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Please. Go ahead with the question.
My question is regarding the contemporary revision of myths. How far do you think they help in subverting the dominant narratives, sir?
Sir, please unmute yourself, sir. Elangovan, sir, you muted yourself.
Yes. Could you please repeat your question, ma'am?
So actually, I was asking when you're talking about the revision of classics or the rewriting of classics, I actually asked that how far do you think that the revision, contemporary revisionary works, which are based on the old myths or the public domain stories, how far do you think they help in subverting these classics or these mythical stories?
Yes, very good. When Shashi Tharoor wrote the great Indian novel,
yes, sir.
What he had done to the story of the Mahabharata is that he tried to subvert the main theme of the Mahabharata and the contents of the Mahabharata to tell a new story or to create a new myth for the present time. So, in my opinion, each new writing of the old classics is basically a subversion of the old classics. So, as I said earlier, as a creative writer, a writer has to feel the pulse of the moment of his time in which he lives. So what he actually does is that he knows what is the requirement of his society, the requirement of his time, requirement of the moment of his life. So he goes back to the past, to the realms of the past, and picks out the necessary story from the past. It can be a myth, it can be a classical work, it can be a translated work, but whatever it is, but it belongs to the past, but he recreates the story in order to suit the need and necessity of the present time. So what happens in the recreation of a story is that it is this kind of subversion of the classical story.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So subversions are necessary. Thank you.
Sir, one question, sir. In translated works, we are supposed to keep the spirit of the work. Am I right, sir? But in the created work, we don't expect the spirit of the work. Am I right, sir?
No, yes, sir. So there are two things, ma'am, in translation.
Okay.
Whether we want to maintain faithfulness to the original, this is the first thing.
Okay.
Whether we want to go beyond the original, this is the second thing. It is all up to the translator to decide whether he should be his work or the translation should be faithful to the original or should be beautiful to the readers. So it is the question of becoming faithful to the original work or the nature of beautification in the translation work. So it all depends upon whether as a translator I want to recreate a transcreation or I want to maintain the spirit, the old spirit from the source. So it is all up to the translator and whether to keep the spirit, same old spirit, or to go beyond the spirit. It is a question of the individuality, ma'am.
So my question is whether it, when our translated work doesn't remain faithful to the original one, then I mean, do we call it transcreated one?
Yes, that's definitely, because the original is original spirit is lost, and the translator has gone beyond what the original writer has intended to say. So that becomes a transcreation. Of course, you can call it as a transcreation. When the old spirit is not there, you can call it as a transcreation. That is why it is called a transcreation. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Already you said, sir, the continuous of writing, you have to work with your mind and your brain.
Yes, yes.
My question is, what is difference between the mind and your brain? Is there any creative mind and creative brain?
Yes,
I don't know.
yes, sir. Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Yes.
I deliberately used these words in order to say that, of course, your mind is the product of your brain. Okay.
Yes.
Brain is the physical object, and it emanates thoughts, and the series of thoughts is called the mind. So what I say that is that when you want to become a writer, you have to continuously write, so that the coordination among the fingers and the physical brain and the abstract mind all work together.
Both
okay.
Yes,
they
sir.
are different. Of course, they are different. Brain is something different. When I say brain, I mean the physical object which is inside our head. Okay,
yes.
Which we can easily see. But the same brain emanates these thoughts. Okay, our thoughts are the brainchild of our brains. The thoughts are the brainchild. So brainchilds of our brain. So what happens is that we have to keep our brain fresh, and then our mind also becomes fresh. Our thoughts also, by mind I mean our thoughts, so that our hand, our brain, our thoughts go together, take a simultaneous journey, and reach the creative realm.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So
yes,
very crystal clear presentation yours, sir. Hats off to you. And
Thank
really, the youngsters like us, we need to listen to these kinds of speeches. And my question is, can creative writing be ended with open ending?
Yes, all writings are open ending, because as I said that there is no finite saying in creative writing. For example, there is no finite saying in any creative writing. For example, every poem ends with some kind of, that is why I told you that a creative writing disturbs you a lot. That disturbance comes because of this open ending problem. Every poem has this problem of open ending, because a good poem disturbs you a lot because of this open, because it leads you to a place where you are disturbed and you are taken to a different level of your existence. There you are led by different spirits and everything. So every poem or every creative piece of writing has this kind of thank you.
Professor, everybody
Yes,
is
sir.
asking only question. It is not a question, it is only clarification.
Yes, sir, definitely. Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
We are not competent to ask you question to you, because you are the authority.
Oh, okay, so I am not an authority, sir. I am not an authority, sir. Thank you
sir,
so much.
we seek clarification only. See the way which
Okay,
you
sir. Okay.
kindly
Okay,
clarify, sir. That's the way you should
Yes,
ask.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. I have understood the right speed, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, all the participants. Since we have completed our question and answer session, we are moving to the next session. Vasni ma'am, you can start the next session, please.
Let's move on to feedback session. Participants, can you kindly give your valuable feedbacks on the last 6 days FTP?
Can I start?
Participants, feel free to share your feedbacks on the feedback on the FDP.
Can I start?
Speak. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to all. First
Good
and
evening,
foremost thing is, let me thank our coordinator, or whatever maybe they coined that, Dr. Das, who is doing a wonderful job coordinating from the beginning till the end of the session. He is doing the job. First, he is a person, anchor person or coordinator, whatever maybe, we can call like this.
Thank you, sir.
The department of Bharatya University English department and also Saraswati College both collaborated the communicative English and professional English with LSRW. All the professors, one thing I observed, for all 6 days I was there, in spite of my schedule, I have allocated for 4 hours only for this. They are all subject matter expert. One thing I would like to say, they are all subject matter expert. We are not competent to ask questions. That's what I would like to say. We are competent to ask clarification from them, because the clarification is more important rather than asking question. Point number 2. Then our professor was telling about this. Our dean was addressing in the evening. It was a wonderful speech he has given there. He made one thing else. Man making, we are making a machine. Not he is not telling, somebody quoted from foreign and he quoted that it's applicable for this. We are all teaching, absolutely teaching the values. We forget the teaching the values. Apart from this, we are teaching only the theoretical teaching. Only we are teaching there most of the things. That is why the teaching methodology has been eroded for this. And I was also telling, he was telling reading a lot of time. Read a lot, lifetime. And he quote many appreciated the parables. When you are teaching, use parables and also anecdotes. That will be very helpful for the students, community to gain a knowledge for this. Of course, I cannot say anything else. Excellent session he has been there. I have already attended the same session previously. Dr. Sumuthi Madam conducted a digitalization about the subject for 6 days, attend the program. Excellent performance by all the speakers. No doubt, nobody has done anything else. They have not only that they are prepared very well, they are shown with the pictorial representation, they are shown there, and also they need a clarification. What are the clarification seek by the participants? They are given the full doubts are there, and they have taken extra time for them to prepare everything else. Hats off to them, and my best congratulations and also my best wishes to the Bharatya University and Saraswati College. They should do in future also the same program should be conducted in management circle. Now you did it for the, for this English department. I request you to please, with my humble submission to you there, management side, anything if you do there, I will be one of the speaker for you there, enlighten the knowledge of the things, whatever the knowledge I gained over a period of time. Since I was working for abroad for a decade and I returned to India, how English communication is very important, I know pretty well for this. It's very difficult to teach English for the Omanis. I was in Oman, the countries. You should teach English. He said only one thing else. I told the dean, we can take the horse to the pond. The horse only should drink the water. The dean said, Raghuram, this is not the way. What you said is, I agree with you. There's a old proverb. Now the new thing is, you can make the horse thirsty. Not only drink the water. Every horse cannot drink the water. You make the horse thirsty, then only they'll drink the water. For that only, we have been brought down here for PhDs and also all the people are there. In such a way, we should go down to the level of the students and make them to understand how English is important in the worldwide, and thereby they can enhance themselves. They will be one of the competent person in the world employability market. Most important thing. Thank you very much for the opportunity given. And also thanks for the Vice Chancellor and all administrative people, who it may be. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
I would like to share a few points.
Yes, sir.
All these days, 6 days was the really grand finale. We enjoyed all the sessions. Apart from the resource persons, all resource persons were extremely good. And I would like to remember the dean. I think his name is Padmanabhan, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Padmanabhan, sir.
Yeah. I love to hear to his each and every words that he uttered from his own personal experience. And he even instructed us to read many books and how one could improve the English language skill by using the Holy Bible, which will be very effective in developing our English knowledge, which I was practicing. And he really proved himself to be a very great Josephite. He was talking about St. Joseph's College, the experience that he had in those days. And I also was taken back to those days. I was hearing to his speech, And apart from this resource person, we should include him also to be a resource person, though he had few minutes to share with us. And my special thanks to and the Dean sir, Dr. Padmanabhan also. And it was really useful for each and every one of us. Thanks a lot for the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello, may I say a few words, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Okay, let me congratulate the entire team for organizing such a wonderful FDP. And when I was listening to all these sessions, I had a feeling that I have gone back to my university classes and I'm getting something new every day. So that was indeed something new, and every day it was something new that I got. And yes, I must underline the key takeaway that I had from this, that a teacher should be devotional in his profession. Then we cannot separate reading, writing, listening, speaking while teaching English. They all are part of the same. And even as earlier participant was expressing, I think Singh sir, he was telling that Dean sir has emphasized on reading and getting our classes more lively. So I think we all agree to that. And once again, I congratulate all the team for organizing such a beautiful, wonderful faculty development program. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Good.
So this is Rajesh.
Yes, sir.
I like to speak a few words towards this 6-day FDP program. In every day, I never miss 4 to 6. I just kept my time, my mental alarm, set it. I don't miss this English class. This is more essential for one who has to go with their professional career in a better way. It is very much their help in STC in English department. They are serving the community in a better way. If it is going throughout the life, then everybody lives will be there, limelighting one. That's what I like to share to you, sir. I just slept up to 2 to 3, and automatically in my mind I woke up at 4 o'clock and not to miss these classes. Okay, that's what such a way they are imposition in my mind. This sessions are beautifully arranged, every sessions like a maestro songs. It's like a maestro song, how he do it in such a way. They are beautifully arranged. Thank you so much for this wonderful sessions given to us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your good feedback. Sir?
Hello.
Sir, your voice is not clear. Not clear. Can you speak louder? Your voice is not clear.
Hello.
I think you have network problem. Please.
Thiagaraja.
Sir, now it is not clear, sir.
Okay, sir.
Sir, we are unable to hear you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, you have some network issues, I think so. Okay. Professor Lakshmi Narayanan, I have been watching you for all the 6 days. You have been keenly listening to all the speakers, and I think you can share a few words with us, Professor Lakshmi Narayanan. Ma'am, you are.
Good evening, sir. This is SREE Ravikant from Vidyaniketan Degree College. Thanks a lot for organizing this fantastic program. Today is not the end of the day. We want some more programs to be organized. I will not exit from this WhatsApp group, waiting for some more programs to be organized, sir. Thanks a lot.
The future we will organize. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Listen
the
to
future
you.
will organize some more programs like this. You all take part. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Das. This is Dr. Sushil from PSG Krishnamal College. So thank you so much for the FDP. It was very, very fruitful sessions. All the 6 sessions were very good. Thank you very much. All your organizers. I mean, I want to also thank your HOD, Vanilla, Nancy, Vincy, everybody. All of you did your best. We want to thank you for everything that you've arranged for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Venkat Raghuram calling
Yes, sir.
from Andhra
Please.
Pradesh, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir.
actually, the one thing I would like to tell you in this context, the main success of any FDP is selecting the resource person, sir. In that situation, you did a wonderful job. From day one, Nagaraj Reddy sir and today Elando sir, the introduction is very excellent and the conclusion also very good. And in between, the focus on LSRW skills really it gives some more deep insights, sir. Thank you very much for the entire
Thank you
team
so
of
much.
Bharatiya College. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Hello,
Sir,
1
good
minute,
evening.
dear sir. I
Sir,
request
good
you
evening.
1 minute, dear sir.
Yes, sir.
I am Narayana from Mallareddy University, Hyderabad, Telangana, and I'm very glad to admit myself and the excellent resources persons who have touched the pedagogical components which are very, very relevant to the chosen topic, professional English. Thank you so much, dear organizers. And in the days to come, you have to organize such kind of beautiful, very informative and useful FDPs like this, which flourish our knowledge and we broaden our view of thinking in a professional way. Thank you so much, dear sir, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Hello,
you.
sir.
Yes,
Good
ma'am,
evening.
please. Good
I am
evening, ma'am.
Professor Helen Rajeshwari from Laila College, Chennai. I was hearing all the 6 days of this program. It went on very well. I congratulate the entire team for selecting all the resource person which have really the resources in their mind. So they are technically sound and they were helpful to enrich our knowledge. Actually, I am in the commerce background, but very interesting to listen to that also, sir. So you have taken so much of effort to organize the 6 days of FDP. Thank the entire organizing team. Congratulations to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your feedback. Thank you so much. I think we
Hello,
can.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Lakshmi Narayan, sir, please go ahead.
Sir, I would like.
Good
I would like
afternoon,
to
sir.
thank.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello. Sir,
Yes, sir.
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Sir, it's excellent program, sir. Really, we find nowadays 1 day or 1 hour or 2 hours of webinars now, but you have successfully conducted for 6 days continuously. It is an excellent program, sir. Really, we feel we were in the classes. We are really enjoying our lecturers at university level. And really hats off to you for conducting in a fine way without giving scope to the bore or
Yes, sir, please open your mic.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please, sir. Please go ahead.
This is excellent program, sir. Really, I am very thankful
Friends,
to you for
conducting
of excellent program. Hoping some more programs from you, sir, in future.
Sure, sir. We'll conduct in the future. Sure, we conduct. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello,
Yes,
sir. I just want
yes,
to
sir.
say a few.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir, for organizing such a great program in this pandemic time. Sir, let me introduce myself that I am Dr. Nurul Hassan. I'm a PG assistant working at Islamia Boys Higher Secondary School, Melvisharam. Sir, your faculty development program have created a kind of bridge between the school and higher education institutions. And I am really thankful to each and every resource person right from the day 1 to the day 6. First, it started with Dr. Nagaraj sir, and then Dr. Ashita Varghese ma'am, and it went on, and today somehow it is over successfully. And each and every resource person have imbibed their knowledge, and each and every point got penetrated into the mind and heart of our of all the participants. And definitely, the ideas and concepts which has been shared with the participant will be applied practically in the teaching and learning process. And at the same time, I'm anticipating that this move will have to continue, and I'm expecting that both the college, the college and the Bharatiyar University will do the same kind of program in future also. Sir, the best part is I myself have forwarded this, notification to many of my kith and kin, and though they are not from an English department, but they have been attending this program with a lot of enthusiasm, and they are giving a very positive feedback that it made them very happy, and
Please unmute your mic.
Myself, Dr.
Sir,
Akalya.
kind request and kind request. I request you to upload all these sessions in the YouTube, sir. Would you do
Yes,
that,
sir.
sir?
It is on the YouTube, sir. It is on the YouTube. We send you the link. You can watch, and we also send all PPTs and other materials.
who has been.
Okay, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Can I hear, sir? Can I hear?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Sir,
can I
speaking
give a
now.
word?
I'll give
Sir, I would like to thank the organizing team, sir, both Bharat University faculty and then Department of English, Sri Thiagaraja College, sir. You
Yes,
have
sir. Thank you,
invited such a eminent personality as a guest, sir. Really, I
Yes,
miss
sir.
you that program from tomorrow onwards. I don't know. From tomorrow onwards, 4 to 6, I don't know what I'm going to
Yes.
do.
Yes, sir.
Really,
We'll conduct programs further in future. We conduct. You please join, sir. Please join.
okay, sir.
Definitely,
My
sir.
humble
Thank you
request,
for-
sir, don't demolish that group's WhatsApp group.
Yes, sir. We'll maintain. We'll maintain. We'll maintain.
Okay,
Sir.
thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
Really,
you, sir.
special thanks to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Das, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Akalya, ma'am. Please. Akalya,
Yes,
ma'am.
this is Akalya, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. You are
Okay, okay. Thank you. It is such a wonderful experience of this program, 6-day programs. The time was very perfect, man. That is what I want to say. Because nobody will be sleeping at that time. They'll be having their coffee. Because of you people, somebody would have had a coffee earlier and they would have been sitting and thinking about, actually, it is the right time to think something regarding their subject or regarding some new innovations. During that time, you catched all the people for all the 6 days. And the great thing is you gave free on Sunday. That is the one thing, because usually when things goes on 6 days means they'll be going for all the 6 days without any break. But you were considering the faculty members and you have given the break on 20th and you made it happen. And the other thing which I want to share it is like the people you have taken into consideration to be the resource person. They were too good, and particularly really I enjoyed reading session from Nagarajan sir and yesterday's functional English and today, and the 2 videos which I cannot take over from the Sundar Singh sir. So every day there was a take home message from everybody, and I have known people only through what to say about the Saraswati Thiagarajar College, the staff members I have known only through paper presentations that has been sent to my college like Vanilla Nancy and all. But I was able to see those people and I was happy that it is very good, it is not even a good, I can say, it is a really best thing that 6-day program with continuous support from all the faculty members along with the university, great show, man. Okay, have such kind of a program often and make it happen. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Let us congratulate the management also, who are of much support to you. Okay.
Yes,
just
thank you,
something to the thing. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all the participants. Sir, we are going to start. Sir is going to have a valedictory address. And a few minutes only. Then after that, word of thanks, we'll share one thing. Okay, that is why I asked you the permission. At the end of the session, we'll take some more time. Since it is a last day, so we'll take another 10 minutes. That's it, sir. We'll complete before 6:30. Before 6:30, we are going to complete the FTP. So you please bear with us. And Nurul sir wanted to say something in between. Some problem took place. Nurul sir, you please have your talk for 1 minute.
That's it.
So then you can complete your talk, and we can move to the next session. That is the section. Yes, sir. You will get all the links, all the YouTube links. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you, sir. Please.
Yeah, I'm Naveen Dias from Bangalore.
Yes, sir.
Success of any program depends on the kind of resource persons that you choose. You have chosen experts from their respective discipline. They have been very informative, and I know how difficult it is to organize or pull the strings when you organize an online FDP program. Though it looks simple, but to address the technical hitches, it requires a lot of patience and endurance, and endurance to accept the criticism also sometimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
as the other participants have expressed, saying that to retain the WhatsApp group, I too feel that the WhatsApp group should be retained and should be used for academic purpose only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
I would request you to share the PPT presentation,
sure, sir.
as well as the certificates at the earliest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In 3 days, you will get all certificates. Everything you will get in 3 days. Since we are working on certificates for participants, and you'll get all the links and the certificates in 3 days.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Nurul sir, you excuse us since we are running short of time. You please send your feedback on the WhatsApp group. We'll be so happy. We'll be so happy to have your feedback. You please send all your feedback on WhatsApp group. We have WhatsApp group. You please all send. Now we can move to the next session. Wasima, you please start next session.
Participants, for your valuable feedbacks. We were much encouraged by your valuable words. Thank you so much. Now, I request our today's chief guest, Dr.M.Elangovan, to address the gathering with his valedictory address.
Sir, Elangovan sir? Elangovan sir? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Sir, please, sir.
So good evening to one and all present here. So again, I have come back to give my valedictory address. I know the time is running very quickly. So I would like to just express a few important things regarding this FTP program. First of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers of the university department and also the SARASWATI Thiagarajar College, because the organizers have taken a lot of effort to organize and to invite the correct and apt resource persons, and also they have made great efforts to invite participants from the state, outside the state, and outside the country. So first of all, thank you so much for all the efforts that they have taken. So as a note of valedictory session, I would like to give a few tips for the participants and to think about further that attending an FTP program is an academic affair, but apart from that academic affair, what is my role in being and becoming a teacher? That should be the right way. That should be the motto. And I know that all the participants would take this FDP program as an opportunity or as a platform to know about the inner qualities of ourselves and the rich standards and values that we are going to impart to our students as teachers of English, teaching both language and literature. So my message for this valedictory session is that FDB is mandatory, but at the same time, we have learned a lot. All the 6 days we have learned a lot, and from the questions that you have asked to me, I have come to know that what amount of sincerity, what amount of dedication that you have listened to the speeches delivered by the resource persons for the last 6 days. That itself shows that all the participants are really a great one. And with that, I congratulate the organizers and the participants to have a bright, prosperous future, to stand ourselves as great portals of learning and teaching. All the best. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Participants, for your kind information, feedback link will be shared during the vote of thanks and it will be open during vote of thanks. Now I call our guiding light, Dr. J. Das, Head Department of English, STC, to render the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my great pleasure and privilege to propose this vote of thanks. Honorable Chief Guest, respected resource persons of the last 5 days and who joined us on this last day of the FTP, respected Dean, my dear faculty members, and the valuable participants, a happy evening. It is my great privilege to have a pleasant task to propose the vote of thanks on this fantabulous and marvelous occasion. We are much fortunate to show our gratitude to the people who made this 6-day faculty program on professional English and communicative English, jointly organized by the Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, and Department of English, SREE Thiagaraja College, Pollachi, a grand success. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to record my sincere and wholehearted thanks to Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, for collaborating with SREE Thiagaraja College, Pollachi, in conducting this 6-day faculty development program. On this wonderful day, I express my heartfelt thanks to the management, the chairman, the vice chairman, and the secretary of SREE Thiagaraja College, Pollachi, for supporting and encouraging us in all our endeavors. It's my great pleasure to record my heartfelt thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr.M.Elangovan, Associate Professor, Department of English, Thiagaraja College, Madurai, for accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion and sharing your valuable thoughts on English for creativity with this august audience, and especially for making this valedictory ceremony a memorable one. I am elected to thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I take immense pleasure to thank Dr. P. Nagaraj, Head Department of English and Foreign Languages, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, for supporting us in every aspect of organizing this FTP, especially in getting permission from the university for the collaboration. I, from the depth of my heart, thank Professor Dr. P. Nagaraj for his all support. Thank you, sir. I am highly delighted to express my great amount of gratitude towards our beloved principal, Dr. A. Somu, SREE Thiagaraja College, Pollachi, for motivating, supporting, and encouraging us to shine like a star. At this juncture, I thank our principal for supporting us in all our efforts. I am extremely happy to express my sincere gratitude towards our respected Professor Padmanabhan, Dean Academic Affairs, for his great support and motivations. I wholeheartedly thank you, sir. I also express my sincere thanks to Dr. V. Ramachandran, Director, Center for Curriculum, STC, for supporting and encouraging us. Thank you, sir. I record my deep sense of gratitude towards all the participants from all the parts of India and overseas. Without you, this FTP would not have been successful. Everyone has taken part in the FTP for all the 6 days. I thank all the participants wholeheartedly. I wholeheartedly thank, this is my special thanks to participants from every state of India and participants from many countries. I'd like to name a few countries: Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Philippines, UAE, Bangladesh, Algeria, and Thailand. I thank you all. From the depth of my heart, I thank all the participants for your support and your enthusiastic participation in the FTP. Thank you all so much once again. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Prasanna, Director, Placement Cell, SREE Thiagaraja College, and Miss Kumidini, Placement Cell, SREE Thiagaraja College, and Mr. Humayun, System Admin from STC, for their technical support whenever we asked for help They were ready to help us. Thank you also. Thank you, Prasanna sir, Kumidini ma'am, and Humayun sir. Thank you so much. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling months in advance. It requires meticulous planning and execution, and an eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to be backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated professors. I wholeheartedly thank the staff members of our department, Department of English, the SARASWATI Thiagarajar College, POLLAChi, for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of this task beyond their comfort zones. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, madams. We are so grateful to the people who are behind the screen and the volunteers who have been doing a lot of things to make this FTP successful. Once again, I wholeheartedly thank each and everyone for the successful conduct of this 6-day FTP. Thank you all once again. Thank you so much for your participation and enthusiastic participation. I should say enthusiastic participation. Really, we are what could say? We are in cloud nine, especially speaking. We are so happy to have you all here. As we stated, we'll maintain the FTP WhatsApp group, and we send all your certificates and all the links and the PPTs of resource persons in 3 days. I forgot to thank resource persons. I would like to name them so that it can be recorded. You please bear with me for some time. I would like to thank the resource person, the first day resource person, Dr. P. Nagaraj, and the second day resource person, Dr. M. Ashita Varghese, and third day resource person, Dr. V.C. Santi Lakshmi, and the fourth day resource person, Dr. J. Sundar Singh, and the fifth day resource person, Dr. M. Anandi, and the last day resource person and today's chief guest, Dr. M.Elangovan. So I thank all the resource persons from the depth of my heart for making this FTP as successful. And you gave us a great knowledge. You gave us great knowledge, and we are enlightened. We are enlightened. We came to know many things from you, sirs and ma'ams. Thank you so much. Once again, I thank each and everyone once again for making this FTP as successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, participants. We'll contact in our WhatsApp group.
Sir, can I have a word? Sir, can I have a word?
Please, sir.
Let me take this opportunity to thank Dr. Das. I think that is very important because he's one of the organizers, and he has been coordinating the entire online program with a smile. And also would like to thank those who are behind the screen, as he rightly said, the technical team. I would like to thank Dr. Das and the technical team. I think education happens, knowledge comes to people, those who are humble, and humility and education go together. I think Dr. Das is one such person who accepts everything with a smile and accepts and tries to set things right. Thank you so much, Dr. Das.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
You are a wonderful person. You are a wonderful person. From your approach, we could make out. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, excuse me, sir. I have a question. Is there any separate form to fill for certificate?
No need, ma'am. No need. We have a feedback form where we can get all your names.
Okay,
so
sir.
we can use no, since you have registered, no ma'am, there you have given all your details, from which we can take all the details. If we need, we'll contact you. If we need, we'll contact you. Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you.
சரி இப்ப லீவ் ஆயிக்கலாமா நானு?
Dr. Das, do we have to fill a feedback form today?
Sir, please, sir. Elangovan, sir, you may leave, sir. Thank you so much for your participation, sir. Thank you. I'll contact you, sir, after this.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, Naveen, sir, please, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, Dr. Das, do we have to fill a form today?
Yes, sir. We have form, sir. We have form. Vinci, ma'am, you please share once again, so that everyone can take the form. Sir, we have feedback. Please fill it.
Okay, we will fill it. We will.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ravindra, sir, please.
Sir, is there any overall feedback form, sir? For all
no, sir. We don't have any overall feedback form. It is enough, and you are spoken, and you can send if you want. If you want to give your feedback, you please share it on the WhatsApp group. We'll take since we don't have we did not create any separate form for this feedback. This feedback, we can share it on the WhatsApp group, sir. We'll take. Thank you so much.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Once again, thank you, sir. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Somebody spoke.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
sir, I'm not in the WhatsApp group. So what can I do?
Can you send your number to my WhatsApp number? I'll add you.
Okay, sir. I will put in the chat box.
Yeah, no, not chat box. It may go. It may disappear. Can you please send to the one of the organizers number? We have a pamphlet. You have pamphlet where you have coordinated numbers. Dr. Vanilla Nancy and Mr. Sagar, you have. And also you can send to me also.
Oh, okay,
we'll add
sir.
you.
Thank you.
We'll add you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Sir, this is Dr. Vinodini here.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
I really admire you being very energetic from first day to the 6th day, and you have been very patient in answering all the queries, not only virtually but also in WhatsApp. I appreciate you, and I thank you very much for moderating very nicely. And I congratulate the FDP team.
Yes,
it's not an easy task. I know it is a Herculean task, and it is for 6 days, and we were not tired, and you were also not tired.
Yes,
Excellent, sir.
you.
Excellent performance. Keep rocking. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Das sir, can you leave?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Yeah.
Good evening, Dr. Das, sir.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Please.
Sir, first of all, I would like to say to the organizers, so you are amazing, sir. The thing is, you have arranged amazing resource persons, and also you have conducted wonderful way, and also the chosen time. It is very convenient for the participants as well as the resource persons as well as the organizers. So it is amazing, sir. And one more thing I would like to say, from the beginning day till day, I like very much and I admire the posture, how it appears from the beginning today. Your posture is like anything, sir. It is very wonderful, very wonderful.
You,
the same thing. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think all the persons are filling the forms, filling the feedback form. I hope so. You please do it so that we can make certificates based on your participation. So somebody is speaking, but we are unable to hear. Senthil Kumar sir is speaking, or somebody. Kuber sir, Professor Kuber speaking. Sir, your voice is not clear. Maybe you have some network issues. I hope. Thank you, everyone, giving your feedback in the WhatsApp group. In the chat box, you are giving your feedback. Thank you, everyone, for your positive and energetic and encouraging feedback. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, sir, Ravinder, sir. Special thanks to Das. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Because you are the master of the ship, sir. Captain of ship.
Even because of my faculty, sir, it was possible. Because of all this teamwork. So thank you, sir.
Yes, it's a teamwork, sir. But we need a good captain, sir, so that we can drive the ship carefully, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Amazing, amazing. Sir, keep in touch with us, sir.